You guys, did you see that Nintendo Direct? Did you see it? Because I saw it with my own eyes and I witnessed magic. I witnessed things I thought I would never see. We have two Mario RPG games, remakes of course, but two remakes of very good RPG games. Two more than I thought we would have at this point in time, and one of them, it's Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. They just wrapped up the Direct with it, out of nowhere. Wasn't leaked or anything, it just exists out there. A game that's being remade for us. Probably one of my favorite games ever, if you couldn't tell. One of these reactions is not like the others. This is the face of someone seeing the future, a prophecy, and it told me, at last, fans of The Thousand Year Door can finally play The Thousand Year Door. It's good to see you, by the way. I just can't believe it. It's coming and it looks incredible. Like, look at this. I need a moment to just talk about this. Not just The Thousand Year Door, but about Mario's direction in general, because I think it's really important to take note how much Mario as an IP is contrasting what it's been known for over the course of 2023. Ever since the Super Mario Bros. Movie released, it feels more and more like Nintendo has a grander plan for our plumber. The movie, of course, was a huge leap for the series. Just seeing the fully voiced characters from this world, seeing the Mushroom Kingdom realized in a way that we never saw before, that was magic. No matter how long you've been a Mario fan, you were able to feel some form of joy and childlike whimsy from that movie. And that was just the start. The movie was very grounded in what it explored with the Mario Brothers, at least as far as everything we saw in the Mushroom Kingdom setting. But it also established Peach as a non-damsel in distress. And that's very important in this day and age because that trope is outdated at this point. This movie will be the first time that some younger audiences see Princess Peach for the first time, and now their initial impression is that she's a princess who gets some work done. As someone who has three little sisters in elementary and preschool, that's super important to me because Peach as a character can be so much more than what we've seen in the days of my childhood. This is carrying on into her newest title, Princess Peach Showtime. I didn't expect Peach to be taking such a prominent role in a game that looks like it's dabbling in several different types of genres, and I couldn't be happier. They literally gave her the starring role in a game where the message is that she can supposedly become anything she wants, and while looking awesome doing it. It is much more respectful to her than the mechanics of Super Princess Peach, and it genuinely looks like a fun time. My oldest little sister is 9 years old and has gotten an interest in theater, so this is going to be even more appealing to her, I imagine. I'm excited to see if this is something that she'll indulge in some way or another. Given all these outfits, Nintendo can merchandise the heck out of this to all audiences if they play their cards right. I also can't help but wonder if the Mario movie helped push the idea to bring back Mario vs. Donkey Kong, given that they have a natural rivalry in that as well. I never played the original on Game Boy Advance, and this one looks so much more appealing than I was expecting. Not the DK game that a lot of us were probably wanting to see, considering it leans more into being a Mario game than anything, but it's coming. Speaking of, I realized that this Direct was way more Mario heavy than some people would have liked, and if that disappointed you, I get it. But this really contributes to the idea that Nintendo just wants to start doing whatever they want with their biggest franchise these days. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which was clearly given its own Direct as to not satirize this one with Mario, shows that they're really willing to get weird and creative all over again. I've played Wonder, and it is just brimming with ideas that you'd only get in a fever dream. It is going to be unlike any other 2D entry in the series, from scenarios to the way that you actually control characters with the badge system. If the trailer didn't already give you this impression, it's probably going to be one of the strangest titles since the Super Mario Land games. I have no idea what to expect from this game, and that's good. Let it be unpredictable and let the developers take as long as they want to squeeze those creative juices out, because this is the direction that I've been wanting Mario to take for years now. And I know that saying they're getting creative is kind of an oxymoron given that the Mario RPG games are remakes, but it's the content of these remakes that makes it so substantial. Super Mario RPG is such a classic fan favorite title. This comes from an era where Nintendo really had no fear with Mario and handed it to Square to pretty much go ham with it. There are strange characters, wacky designs, absurd looking enemies and bosses, along with party members that don't look like anything we've seen in the Mario universe up to that point or since. And people adore it for that because it gives it identity. I think that's the most important takeaway from these directions Mario has been taking. Each of these games have unique ally and enemy designs that are not in any other title. And while they are coupled with your classic enemies, they are distinct enough designs to stand on their own, be they friend or foes. And unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure that went against Nintendo's MO before this year. Everyone has beaten the every toe looks the same joke to death, but they kinda weren't exaggerating. 3D Mario games eventually became the only games that were allowed to introduce entirely new species of characters. One of the most notable cases is Super Mario Odyssey that had a new group of natives with nearly every kingdom you visited. And later on, when Paper Mario the Origami King released, we were cheering when we saw a toad with a coat or a hat on because that's as much as they were willing to give us at that point. It got difficult to distinguish games like Color Splash and Origami King apart in screenshots because it all looked like it was just blending together. For as divisive as Super Paper Mario is, you can't argue that it at least has its own distinct style. It arguably stands out more than any other Paper Mario game because of how angular and pixelated the world is. It's the sheer irony that the Paper Mario which played the most into a flat 2D aesthetic did almost nothing with the paper theme. Miraculously, we're starting to move back into having that distinction. To me, seeing the 1,000-Year Door has solidified the fact that Nintendo is listening. They are actually really listening. One of the reasons this game is so beloved is because they have exactly that unique feel. Not just new characters, but unique designs that stand out from any other Mario game. That goes for the overall art style as well. I feared that if we got some kind of Paper Mario remake, that it was just going to look like the Origami King, which looks great itself, but some aspects, like having that thick white outline, was something I just didn't jive with. And not just that, Mario is paper, yeah, I get it, but he was just so floppy and flat. I'm not trying to give a rare insult either, he just didn't look as appealing, and less so as the game started to lean heavily more into the paper and crafts aesthetic with Sticker Star. But here, Mario and everyone has layers to them. It's the most contradicting thing I can say, but this Paper Mario has depth. You can see where it looks like they were crafted together in layers, giving them a more stocky cardboard-like weight to them, and not just simple paper. And it's weird to say that, but that's just what I feel when looking at them. They did away with the white outline, and I am so glad about that. It felt like the outline was trying to make Mario stand out in an already colorful environment, and I grew to just not be a fan of it in the long run. But the 1,000-Year Door proves that these strong designs can absolutely stand apart from the backgrounds, which by the way are environments and backdrops that they themselves are nothing to sneeze at. Did you notice the sheer amount of shots and locations we saw in this trailer? They were picking out scenes and places from all over the game, from one cut to another, and you know why? Nintendo is so confident in what they have here. They want to show off as much as possible because they love what they're making and they know that we're going to love what they're making too. It's all just so beautiful, from the boggly woods to Glitzville, creepy steeple, Rogueport. And that's another thing, this game isn't relying on extremely saturated colors. It's a fair bit more muted, even in your usual lush green areas. They are toning it down and placing a greater emphasis on lighting, which also helps carry an identity apart from games like the Origami King. There's even hints of newly added aspects of this game too. This toad in Glitzville definitely was not there in the original. What is he scheming with that smug mug? There's new animations, some that perhaps might be borrowing from other games as well, and it's cool to see the characters properly emote more. There's a picture of the original party and a map of the first Paper Mario in his home, and that just makes me feel fuzzy inside. There's a lot that I hope stays in the game as well. Rogueport has a freaking noose in their main town square, like it's a place people will casually just hang out on a Sunday. It was so uncharacteristically out of place in a Mario game, and I like it. It's just a dream come true. It's in HD, widescreen, and it sounds incredible. All the characters have unique speech bubble voices. Luigi just sounds like he's muttering to himself. Plus, the music is getting remade as well. The battle theme and pedal medals sound incredible. Rogueport is one of my favorite themes in any Mario game because of how full of character and life it is. That's going to be remade too, and we're in for so much more. This is the remake that I was always fantasizing about, a remake of one of my favorite games ever, given the love and attention that it deserves. Here I was thinking Mario RPG games were just gone. We have Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga on NSO, but developers Alpha Dream no longer exist. We have the original Paper Mario for N64 on the same service as well, but these emulated titles are pretty much it. That game in particular is the very first RPG style game I ever played. Both of the first two Paper Mario games hold special places in my heart, and it just feels like this aspect of the Mario series is shifting as well. If these games perform, if they sell well enough that Nintendo turns their heads and say, hey, people like this style of games with Mario in them, then maybe, just maybe, we'll see a brand new entry into the Mario RPG series on whatever console succeeds the Switch. That is the best possible outcome right now, after how many years of suffering without a traditional Paper Mario. I enjoyed Origami King for the game that it is, mind you, but it's always going to be hard for me to associate it with the first two Paper Mario games that I grew up with. The series was hovering in such a state of limbo, and this feels like the perfect time to bring it back. Let Mario do whatever he wants. Peach performing on a stage? Sure. Daisy in a 2D platformer where power-ups turn you into elephants while jumping on warp pipes crawling like caterpillars? Yeah, go for it. I want to see how far they're going to take the Mario franchise now that Nintendo's being sassy again. And just imagine, with how creative Odyssey was, how will this affect the next 3D Mario game? How much will the influence of Bowser's Fury have on the structure of that game? There were a lot of factors to take under consideration, and the end result is a big unknown. Only time will tell. Man, seeing everyone gush about Mario RPG games, sharing their memories and their genuine passion, it's been so nice. I have so many memories of the Paper Mario series. From letting my first crush borrow my N64 cartridge and never deleting her save file, to getting cozy with the Thousand Year Door, wrapped in a blanket and a mug of hot chocolate as I explored Rogueport Underground. Experiencing those nostalgic feelings again, like opening a new book for the first time. Oh, it's going to feel so wonderful. I always wish that they could, in some way, fuse the Mario RPG games into one that blends everything together. This HD Thousand Year Door aesthetic, but with Mario and Luigi together, and they each have a party member for a total of 4 in battle, like a more traditional turn-based RPG. The partners can swap out, but Mario and Luigi have to always be there. The crew goes on a wholly original adventure in a new kingdom, and it's called Paper Mario Bros. It's crazy, but simple enough to work. In reality, this is just an excuse to get a Shy Guy partner. I've got like a whole design for him and their backstory in my head. Maybe someday. But that's my fantasy world. What do you think about the direction that Mario is going? Are you also excited for the Thousand Year Door and the glorious return of the Great Gonzalez? Are you ready to rock? Let us know in the comments, and for just $1 on Patreon, you can have access to our personal Discord where you can tell me your favorite thing about the Paper Mario series and why it isn't General White. Wait, that's right. Do you think they're gonna make us do that quest where you basically go all the way around the world just to find one Bob-omb? I hope not, but given their humor, they probably will. My personal favorite aspect was the Toad that told me he was playing Fire Emblem on his Game Boy Advance, which now they can update his text. Now he'll be playing on his Switch and telling me how cool Genealogy of the Holy War is. Can you imagine if he was the one who hinted at it, this random Toad child? I would probably break my chair again. Wait, where is Fire Emblem Toad? Why isn't he there? Where is he? Nintendo? Where did he go? What is the point of this remake if you're not going to bring Fire Emblem Toad back? But bad game, bad remake. Why even bother? Get it away from me. Get it away. Ah no, Fire Emblem kid grew up and started to play Fortnite. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Till we meet again.